Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pillar to Post. This is April 24th, 2017, and yes, it was Monday Night Raw. Now, before we get into the show, let me hit that intro music and we will discuss my thoughts on tonight's Monday Night Raw. I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
This is Pillar to Post. And we are back. Now, I want to be honest with you. Tonight, I'm having a little bit of a difficulty getting the show going. I spoke about a situation going on in my home a couple episodes back where we had to bring my daughter in for a surgery to get her appendix removed. And since then, we've figured that she'd be feeling better after her appendix were removed. And the doctors weren't sure exactly if that would be the end of the situation or if there was more. And so it's been 2 weeks now. And she's recovered from the operation, but she's still not well. So I worry a lot. And I'd be a very cold-hearted son of a bitch if I wasn't worrying. She's my oldest daughter. I don't have favorites with my kid. But when it comes to doing things with me, she does the most with me. And there's that train. So we had to take her back in the hospital. She had more ultrasounds done, more blood work done, still have nothing, no idea what the hell's wrong with her. And this big guy is hurting. I'm shooting very straight tonight. When it comes to my kids, I get scared. And tonight wasn't a bad Raw. I'm not going to say it was. I'm not going to shit on what happened tonight. I just found myself not as into it as I thought I would be, as I had hoped I'd be. I figured I'd maybe get some, clear my mind a little bit while watching it and get, out of my head a little bit, and it didn't work. So, usually I'd tell you, hit that subscribe button, hit the like. You know what? Tonight, I don't care. I really don't. You're going to do what you please. What I want you to do is maybe throw some good vibes my way. And I'm hoping I apologize. It's my kid. Send some good vibes my way. That's all I ask. So, sorry about that. Tonight, Raw was in Kansas, and despite what's been going on, or went on before WrestleMania, it seems like Raw's kind of turned things around. They're giving us more matches, they're giving us better quality of matches, and I appreciate it. I do. I really appreciate it. It's been, up until WrestleMania, it was complete shit. And this is the second week in a row where we've seen some good quality matches. Now, their pay-per-view didn't give them any time to build up any good storylines besides the Braun Strowman angle with Roman Reigns and the destruction that he's been leaving in or on Raw, and it's enjoyable to watch. They tried giving the women's division the title match a little bit of a little bit something tonight, besides Alexa Bliss just becoming the #1 contender. But what I don't understand what they're trying to do. I'm not a fan of Bayley on the mic. I'm not. It's really, I don't want to say the word because it's used a lot, but it was cringe tonight. She is not doing well on her mic skills. So I'm wondering, is that why they have Sasha Banks come out to kind of give her that support? Because it looks like they're trying to build friction between the two, but at the same time have Sasha Banks out there aiding Bayley because she flounders really badly on the mic. It's just hard to watch. Now, Alexa Bliss does a great job with her role. She plays a very great heel. And even my daughter, like, she watches with me. She's sick at home, and she hasn't been in school in 2 weeks. She's failing all of her classes because of being sick. And she's sitting there, and even her, she gets that reaction. I hate that bitch. She is such a bitch. And she's talking about Alexa Bliss, and I said, that is her role, sweetheart. She is supposed to have people hate her. And she goes, well, I hate her because she acts like such a bitch. I said, that's because she's doing such a good job. And we seen tonight a very possible great feud, in my opinion, between Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss. I think that would work out really well. They work well together. They look like they could give us something to watch. And the Braun Strowman Kalisto match. Now, as soon as Braun Strowman climbed up on the apron, I knew it was inevitable. I knew he was going into the dumpster. Hate to give away the ending of that match so soon, but it was very predictable. Once he stepped out on the apron, we knew he was going into the dumpster. But what happened afterwards really sold the rage and the monster mentality that this man has for his character. It was beautiful. He totally decimated Kalisto, and then just put the cherry right on top. You know, it was beautiful to behold. Let's see, what else did we have? I gotta go through my notes here. I'm gonna talk about the beginning of the show. Now, I've probably stated this before on my show. I'm not a fan of the highlight reel, Miz TV, or the Ambrose Asylum. I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan of these gimmicky. They're not done right. You know, it comes off as just filler, and it lends no interest to my part in wrestling. Now, I like to talk about how things were back in the day, and I do apologize for that. I tend to do that a lot. But you have Piper's Pit. That was interesting. You know, you had the Snake Pit with Jake the Snake Roberts. You had the Barbershop with Bruce the Barber Beefcake. And those always tended to be very interesting. You had, especially when they were playing the heel part, you know, what the things Roddy Piper did in Piper's Pit, the things that Jake the Snake did in the Snake Pit, which wasn't a very long lasting show, but or segment, but there was always something that was going to grab your interest, and it was always explainable. And with Miz TV, Chris Jericho, the highlight reel, and yeah, there's always something that goes down. Like there's either a DDT thrown in there, there's like stupid, but most of it is stupid shit. And it's just uninteresting to me. And I know I'm going to get heat from that, and I do apologize for my dislike of it. But to me, it's taken away from what they could be doing with the show itself. That could have been used for another great tag team match. Yes, we got no, there wasn't a tag team match tonight, was there? Besides the main event, and that wasn't even a real tag team situation. It just, you know, they've got so many people on the roster that are underutilized, and they give us these pieces that have the same people in over and over and over again, and I'm tired of it. I want to see them start developing and using some of these tag teams that they have. Some of the women that they have need more work in the ring. They should be getting that time, and we're not getting that. We don't need a highlight reel. We don't need a fucking Ambrose Asylum or a Miz TV, because what do we have after Raw and after SmackDown? We've got Talking Smack, or is it, yeah, Talking Smack and something with Raw. I can't fucking remember. But we have those. So why do they have to keep on giving us this shit on our television? I don't want to see it anymore. But that's my opinion. You know, people might not think the same way. We also seen Dana Brooke in the ring tonight. Not much to say. You know, it wasn't a very long match. She was fighting Alicia Fox. She won, but you know, it wasn't a good match. You know, so really, why did they bring her into the main roster? I know she was supposed to be Charlotte's protege and all that, but she needed to spend more time at the Performance Center as well as in NXT to develop her character as well as hone her skills, and she is in desperate need of both. So why not just send her back to NXT? Let her grow. Let her be there for a year. Learn. And maybe when she comes to the main roster the next time, we will actually want to see what she can do. But right now, we don't want to see her at all. We had a 6-man tag match. And as usual, we seen, Enzo get ragdolled, like usual. And he was taken out of the match because of being ragdolled. And we were given Finn Balor as the third man on the Cass Seth Rollins team. So that was a good thing. It made it more interesting. The match was good. It worked. And they worked well together. It was good. It was a good match. It was a solid match. The main event had a twist at the end, which I didn't mind, because we haven't seen this man really on Raw TV yet, besides his Titantron promos and stuff. I think he was out there the first day after the Superstar shakeup. But I mean, other than that, he hasn't done anything on Raw yet. And it was good to see Bray Wyatt come out finally tonight and actually contribute to the show. So, all in all, I'd say I'm going to give this a solid 7 out of 10. It wasn't, like I said, it was a solid show. It was a good show. I wish I could have enjoyed it a bit more, but my head's just not there. Now, I know there's a lot of people that watch my podcast, and they're going to notice the changes that I've given to the screen, and they're going to see similarities, which I hated, with another podcast. And I'm going to tell everyone right now, these designs were already set before the other podcaster came out with his. And although they are a little bit similar, they are different. The Raw with the wrestlers on there, the performers on there, those I had set and ready to use, and then he came out with his, and it was like, oh shit. Now they're going to think I'm trying to mimic what he's doing in his show, and it's like, no, I'm not trying to mimic what he's doing. These were made up, and yes, they are similar, but they are different, and they are with my taste. I'm still not happy with the Raw one. The background just did not go well with me, so I got to redesign it again. But it's something different, and it's a little bit better than the old one was. Raw has its own treatment, as well as NXT. And my main show, the Pillar to Post show that I usually run for the news and rumors, has its own look now as well. I wanted each show to have its own look, so I have that now. I'm still working on the intro music as well as the video that goes along with it. I'm not happy with what I got. I want something that's going to be interesting and look good, and I don't have that yet. So I think I'm going to find someone that can help me with it and with the music and everything, and I'm hoping that I get something a little bit shorter and a lot more interesting. Now, with what's been going on the show tonight. So we opened the show. We had some highlights from prior weeks. Roman Reigns getting decimated by Braun Strowman. R-Truth and Goldust getting decimated. Kalisto. And during the weekend, we had Kalisto challenge Braun Strowman to a dumpster match. And Kurt Angle replied to him on Twitter stating, yes, it's on. You better be ready. And Strowman replied, I wonder if it feels the same. Hashtag cockroaches or cockroach. And I love that about Braun Strowman. The tweets that he makes, the last one ended with hashtag your tears hydrate me. And I love that about Braun Strowman. I do. So we got that tonight. We got a match between Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss. A 6-man tag with Samoa Joe and the Club versus what was to be Enzo and Cass and Seth Rollins, and it ended up being Seth Rollins, Cass, and Finn Balor, which was a nice little twist, seeing as the club was in the ring already. And our main event was the tag team that ended up being a handicap for most of the match, and then a surprise when Bray Wyatt came out. So that was good. And like I said, Dana Brooks had her own match against Alicia Fox. There's other stuff I have in my notes, and I'm going to get to that right now. So we opened the show finally after the replays of what's been going on with Braun Strowman, and we go straight into the highlight reel with Chris Jericho. So Chris Jericho welcomes us all to a monumental edition of the highlight reel. And he says this is going to be the last highlight reel we see on Monday Night Raw. Why? Because Jericho is going to beat Kevin Owens for the United States Championship and head to SmackDown Live. Jericho notes that it doesn't matter where he is because he will always have the support of the friends of Jericho. Cheer him on. Well, if I said it like him, it'd be cheer him on, man. The last highlight reel deserves a huge guest. So tonight's guest will be Chris Jericho himself. And he follows that up with chat him up, man. Owen split to SmackDown Live and calls himself the face, or the new face of America. Jericho says Owen looks like a cross between Grumpy Cat and the Hunchback of Notre Dame, which did not get a reaction at all, which I thought I figured he might, because the fans seem to cheer whatever he says. Thankfully, they did not cheer him because it was a lame joke. The Miz's music interrupts them, and Miz and Maurice walk down to the ringside. Miz says Raw is no longer Jericho, and it hasn't been since they arrived. Miz says Raw is now about the It couple. Jericho says Miz better watch it. And it was a weird moment because he just froze in place. And everything was silent. The fans were even wondering what the hell's going on. And then he just finally said, it. Miz tells Jericho that his sentiment is cute. The highlight reel has been canceled in favor of Miz TV. Miz beckons that the staff come out and change the set to Miz TV. And we go through the process of changing up the ring, taking the rug out, jacking up the Geritron 6000, I think he said it was. And lo and behold, out comes Dean Ambrose to interrupt it all and say that Jericho is right. Miz is stupid. So the Miz says Jericho never said something like that. And Jericho responds, well, I was thinking it. Ambrose tells Miz that he can't just come out and take over a show. That's not how any of this works. Ambrose tells the production crew to come back. The production crew turns the set into the Ambrose Asylum. Ambrose says before they get started, he has to apologize to Jericho for destroying his light-up jacket. Jericho says Ambrose owes him $15,000 for a new coat. Ambrose says he has a gift for Jericho. Ambrose gives Jericho a box. Inside the box is a new jacket covered in Christmas lights. Ambrose tells Jericho to try it on, man. Jericho puts it on. Miz says it looks hideous. Miz says the quality of that jacket is the product of an Intercontinental Champion that is a lazy slacker. Ambrose gives Miz dirty deeds and leaves. Jericho asks Maurice if she knows what happens when you marry a man like the Miz. And he continues to go and add her to the list of Jericho, which again I thought was corny and stupid and uninteresting, but it happened. So there you go. There are segments of this show I don't tune into very well because I'm just not interested in it. Dana Brooks is the second one. So up next we get Sheamus with Cesaro in his corner versus Matt Hardy with Jeff Hardy in his corner. So Matt rolls up Sheamus for a 2 count. What the fuck are my notes doing? I'm a little bit lost. I apologize, folks. Bad night. Oh yeah, at the start of the match, we go to collar and elbow like we usually do. Yes, Matt rolls up Sheamus for a 2 count right at the beginning of the match. Sheamus grabs a side headlock. Matt hits the ropes, but Sheamus shoulder blocks Matt. Matt manages to catch Sheamus with a neck breaker, followed by multiple leg drops for another near fall. Sheamus sets up a body slam, but Matt manages to get off Sheamus' shoulder. Sheamus kicks Matt in the chest. Sheamus almost starts the 10 beats of the Bodhrán, I believe it's pronounced, but Matt fights out of it. Sheamus picks up Matt on his shoulder while on the apron. Sheamus looks for white noise, but Matt reverses into the side effect upon the apron. After a short break, Sheamus is working a rear chin lock. Sheamus finally lands 10 beats of the Bodhrán. Sheamus mounts the top rope and levels Matt with a double axe handle for a near fall. Sheamus calls for white noise again, but Matt gets out of it. Sheamus tries to shoulder block Matt in the corner, but Matt moves out in barely gets out of the way. Matt takes Sheamus over with a tornado DDT from the second turnbuckle. Matt slams Sheamus' head into the turnbuckle as a crowd chants, "Delete." And yes, throughout this match, Matt Hardy was going through his regular routine of going in and out of his old characters. Broken Matt Hardy, Mattitude, as well as the extreme version. So, running Bulldog by Matt, followed by a top rope elbow drop for a 2 count. Matt calls for the twist of fate, but Sheamus catches Matt with a knee to the face. Matt stumbles to the outside. Sheamus dives off the apron, but Matt kicks Sheamus in the gut and sets up for twist of fate. Sheamus picks up Matt and crushes him with the running flipping senton. Jeff tries to check on Matt, but Sheamus pushes him away. Jeff gets up on the apron, but Cesaro pulls him down. As Sheamus is distracted, Matt hits the twist of fate for the win. And again, Sheamus and Cesaro get another loss against the Hardy Boys. Now, after the match, Cesaro gets in Matt's face. Sheamus stops Cesaro and extends his hand to shake with Matt. Matt motions that... Matt clearly was distrustful, but in the end, he shows it. He gives that old delete taunt, and then finally accepts to shake Sheamus' hand. And basically, I took that as a warning. Fuck with me, and you're going to be deleted. It's good that they're slowly breaking into the broken Matt Hardy phase. I do like it. Now, the match, like I said, was a solid match. It was a good match between these two guys. It was back and forth. Exactly like a competitive match should be, especially when the Hardy Boys have to defend their titles this coming weekend against Cesaro and Sheamus. This is the way it should be going down. There's some animosity going on in there, some distrust. They're both babyface teams right at the moment, and I suspect the Hardys will retain the titles at Payback, and this will turn Cesaro and Sheamus into heels because of what's been going on as of late. The last couple of weeks, there's been distrust between the both. Sheamus has wanted to go on the offense at the end of the match. Today, we've seen Cesaro in that mood, so I suspect to turn this team heel, and I believe they're going to be a lot better team as a heel, especially now that they're working and they are a cohesive unit. I think it's going to make them a lot more interesting and get over with the fans a bit more, because even the fans, I think, see these guys as better heels than they do baby faces. Now, I know they're loving the way they've been working lately, but I think they do work better as a heel. Just my opinion. Now, backstage, Kurt Angle is on the phone talking to someone about Braun Strowman versus Kalisto's dumpster match. During the call, Angle starts yelling hello. Angle turns around to find Miz and Maurice, and that Miz has hung up the phone on Kurt Angle. Miz says he was waiting for a whole 2 minutes outside the office. I don't know why they call it an office. Does it look like an office to you people? Now, Miz complains about what happened to him earlier. Angle says we solve our problems inside the ring and books a tag match for tonight. Miz and a co-star, as Angle put it, against Jericho and Ambrose. Maurice yells at Angle in French and does her hand motion at him. Angle yells back and goes, back at you. So, just like all of us, he probably didn't know what the fuck she was saying to begin with. I don't know why she had to open her mouth, but then she basically and essentially is the Mrs. Bodyguard if you watch what's been going on. Now up next we get the Cruiserweights. Neville and TJ Perkins versus Austin Aries and Jack Gallagher. Another good quality match. These guys got more time than they used to get. Yes, it was a tag team match, which we've grown accustomed when they're on Raw. But it was a good, solid match. Now, everything done in this match worked well together. It built up to the match this weekend at Payback between Austin Aries and Neville. And it showed the new heel tendencies of TJ Perkins. Now, Jack Gallagher, everyone continues to love him, and I don't see why not, because the things he does in the ring are fucking fabulous and awesome. Except for the whole Mary Poppins bit off the top rope, and I'm happy I didn't have to see that tonight. But before the match even started, Gallagher stops right at ringside and waits for Austin Aries to come out. And it's like they're discussing what should they do. Should they be gentlemen about it and just enter the ring and, you know... And after a bit of discussion and back and forth, they charged the ring and it went right straight into a brawl. There was an attempt to throw Neville and Perkins over the top rope to the outside. That was reversed and then reversed again. And the Neville and Perkins tag team was sent over the top rope as was planned to begin with. Now, Aries and Gallagher, like I said, attacked TJ Perkins and Neville at the top of the match. TJ and Neville get the advantage, but as they try to toss Gallagher and Aries to the outside, Gallagher and Aries both reverse and send TJ and Neville to the outside. And we immediately go to a commercial break, and then when we get back, TJP and Neville are taking turns working over Gallagher. Perkins whips Neville into the corner, but Gallagher toe holds him, and Neville kisses the bottom turnbuckle. TJP charges in, but Gallagher monkey flips him. I should call it a modified monkey flip into Neville in the corner. Gallagher tags in Aries, who clears the ring as soon as he enters. Aries chest breaker to TJP and follows that up with a pendulum elbow drop. Running knee to Neville in the corner by Aries. Aries topes into the ring onto Neville. Now Aries sends both TJP and Neville to the outside once again. Heat-seeking missile by Aries onto both TJP and Neville. Aries locks in the last chancery on TJP, but Neville is there to break the hold. Now, Gallagher gets back in the ring. Neville lands a few strikes. Gallagher stumbles into the ropes, bounces off, and obliterates Neville with a headbutt. Basically obliterated himself. He did not fall on his ass, but he did need to hold himself up on the ropes. Aries levels TJP with the Discus 5 arm with the for the win. So your winners, Austin Aries and Jack Gallagher. Like I said, it wasn't a bad match. I wish I could have written it down a little bit better, but so up next, we get the dumpster match with Braun Strowman versus Kalisto, and I have to say it was better than I expected it would be. The ending was by far the cherry on top, but it shouldn't have ended. Like, you got Braun Strowman the way he is. I don't know if they're trying to build Kalisto into another Rey Mysterio where he's the Monster Slayer, the Giant Slayer, but it kind of came off that way to me tonight. I would not have had Braun Strowman lose. I don't understand why they would have had Kalisto lose, but it made it look like it was more of just a fluke. If Braun Strowman wouldn't have climbed out on the apron, it wouldn't have happened. But it did. Kalisto got manhandled and thrown around like a rag doll throughout this entire match. He was lifted up into a suplex and just thrown clear across the other side of the ring. And it was unbelievable. Like, Braun Strowman, the power this man has is just awesome. And they are billing him correctly now. When he was back in with the Wyatt family, he was essentially a joke. Now he is the monster among men, and he is proving it week in and week out. Yes, he did suffer the loss tonight, and yes, it looked fluky and gimmicky the way they had Kalisto win, but they made him pay for it after the match. Your winner of this match was Kalisto. Let's see. I'm gonna see, where are we? Kalisto. Blah blah blah. Okay. Now after the match, Strowman picks up Kalisto off the mat and chokeslams him over and over again. Strowman tosses Kalisto to the outside, and Strowman choke throws Kalisto into the barricade, one-handed. Strowman picks up Kalisto and throws him into the dumpster to finish it all off. But he's not done yet. Strowman closes the lid. Strowman drags the dumpster up the ramp. Now, Adam Pearce and Jamie Noble and Fit Finlay come out to try and stop him. Yeah, they ran. They ran like bitches. Strowman locks the lid of the dumpster. Strowman pushes the dumpster off the stage. And I can guarantee you that somewhere, either in his hospital bed or at home while resting, Mick Foley had a big smile on his face, because it essentially was kind of a tribute to Mick Foley and Terry Funk. Now, the stage wasn't as high as it was back in the Attitude Era, but it was very reminiscent of what the New Age Outlaws did to Terry Funk and Mick Foley. It was nicely done tonight. Now, they had clips later on showing Kalisto being put on a backboard, a neck brace support around his neck, and he was taken away in an ambulance. Later on, they said there was some, I think, like spinal injury and blah, 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 which is all a work. It's not, for the next person to put out a petition to have Braun Strowman fired because of what he did to little old Kalisto. Don't run to your computer yet for that petition, because it was a work. He was not seriously injured, people. But yeah, it was great to see. I don't think they should have had Braun Strowman lose, But that's the way they worked it in the end to begin with. So he had his revenge, and it was done perfectly with what they've been doing with Braun Strowman as of late. It was done perfectly. I enjoyed it. My daughter was giggling through it all, so it made me feel good. Now up next we had Dana Brooks versus Alicia Fox, and you're probably wondering, what the fuck? They had one little interaction backstage, and this warranted a match. We needed to suffer a little bit tonight to have Dana Brooke versus Alicia Fox. We haven't seen Alicia Fox in the ring wrestling in how long? Now, I've only been back to watching wrestling steady for a couple of months now, and I can tell you that I didn't think she wrestled anymore. I thought she was like a valet or manager now. To see her come back in the ring, it was like one little incident in the locker room, and this warranted a match on tonight's Raw. There's nothing that needed to be done with this little spat. It really didn't. I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't a very long match. Emma came down to the ring to basically watch the match, and Dana Brooke ended it with a modified Michinoku driver that she didn't quite do correctly, but she didn't drop anyone on their head or step on their head or anything like that. But it wasn't a good match. Now after the match, Emma climbed into the ring and raised Dana Brooke's hand in victory, and then gave her this awkward big hug. And that was it. She walked off and left Dana Brooke in the ring showing off her muscles. So, follow that up with a backstage interview with Carl Anderson. Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and what is it? And Samoa Joe. I'm sorry. I'm struggling today. Struggling in a big way. Now, I heard some things today come out of grown men's mouths that I've heard my kids say, and that I haven't heard since I was in maybe grade 9 was the last time I heard someone being called a nerd. But the word I heard coming out of Carl Anderson's mouth, he referred to Enzo Amore as a butt nugget. This is something I heard. This is 2 words I heard come out of my daughter's mouths when they were all of like 4 years old. And this is what I had to hear out of Carl Anderson's mouth. And then that was followed up by Luke Gallows calling them nerds. I don't know what's gone on with the club, but they don't come off as tough guys. They don't come off as intimidating. I don't care how bad a shape I'm in. If one of those guys were to come up to me, or anyone that was like them, to come up to me on the street and get in my face, I would not back down. And I've never backed down from anybody. I don't care how big they've been. I've never backed down in my life. And for them to be talking the way they are, how are they instilling any fear in anyone's mind, even the audiences in the ring or us at home? How are they instilling intimidation and fear in their opponents when they talk like children? Doesn't make any sense to me. Now, when Joe took the mic, Joe was spot on. Joe was who he is and who he's meant to be. And that is a destroyer, a fierce, intimidating man that no one should fuck with. And that is what I should be seeing from the club. They are supposed to be a unit. They are supposed to be fierce, intimidating, monstrous. And they talk like they are in high school. Grow up. Get some new lines. Do me a favor and get a character. Please. Because right now, I don't enjoy you guys on the mic. I rarely enjoy you guys in the ring, for that matter. And as a team, as wrestlers, you guys make no sense. No sense at all. What was in you guys in New Japan Pro Wrestling has seemed to be stripped completely away, and you guys come off as losers. Now, this is my opinion, people. So the match is supposed to be Enzo, Big Cass, and Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe and the Club. Now, before the match even started, the Club attacked Enzo and Big Cass. Actually, no. It was, they attacked Enzo. Big Cass all of a sudden just disappeared out of the screen, and Joe was the man pulling him into the crowd and kicking the crap out of him. Now, Anderson Gallows hit Magic Killer on Enzo. Rollins finally came running down to help out, and he went straight on the attack with Joe. Now, Big Cass climbs over the barricade and helps Rollins out. And officials quickly check on Enzo Amore on the outside of the ring, while the chaos is breaking out inside. We went to a commercial break. That's all we've seen from that point. And as we come back from the commercial break, Angle is on the ramp. Angle says, since Enzo cannot compete tonight, he has a new tag team partner for Seth Rollins and Big Cass. And out came Finn Balor to a huge applause. So it ended up being a 6-man tag with Finn Balor, Big Cass, and Seth Rollins, as I said earlier, versus Samoa Joe and the Club. Once again, we've seen a great, solid match. There was so much that built up for Payback, as well as the feud that's been kind of brewing between Joe and Seth Rollins, as well as what's been going on between Enzo and Cass and the Club. But, you know, it's been done before. We really don't want to see it again, but we are eventually. So, a huge brawl breaks out in the ring. Big Cass splashes Gallows in the corner. Follows that up by picking up Gallows and tossing him across the ring with a fall-away slam. Rollins hits a diving axe handle off the top. Balor tags in and dropkicks Gallows in the head. Anderson tags in and attempts a sunset flip. Balor rolls through and dropkicks Anderson dropkicks Anderson in the face. Excuse me. Now Joe tags in and crushes Balor in the corner. Joe follows that up with a enziguri to the head. The heels work over Balor, of course, and Balor manages to tag in Rollins. Rollins hits a blockbuster off the top rope on Anderson. Rollins tries to suplex Anderson, but Anderson reverses it. Big Cass comes in and boots Gallows off the apron as he tries to attack Rollins. Sorry about that. Rollins dives to the outside onto everyone, taking out, I think it was Anderson and Samoa Joe. Rollins calls for the springboard knee, but Joe grabs his boot. Balor comes out of nowhere and torpedo drop kicks Joe. Sent him right into the barricade. Looked awesome. Rollins hits a springboard clothesline into the ring on Anderson. Rollins kicks Anderson in the gut and sets up the pedigree. And I was like, God, I was hoping he was going to debut his new finisher. And lo and behold, he drops the arms of Anderson. And we see the debut of Seth Rollins' new finisher. Rollins decides not to bother with it. Rollins picks up Anderson and hits the ripcord knee for the win. I guess that's what they're calling it, the ripcord knee. So your winners are Seth Rollins, Big Cass, and Finn Balor. Now, I'm kind of hoping this kind of brings Cass a little bit more into the singles division, but I know they're not going to do that. Probably not going to do that for some time. But I would really like to see it because he does so much better. He looks so much better on his own. I like seeing Seth Rollins' new finisher, the Ripcord Knee. Looks great. Finn Balor back on Raw looks great. In a better match than with a jobber. So that looked great. So backstage, Miz is talking to Cesaro and Sheamus. We can't hear a word they're saying. He's searching for a tag team partner for the night. And obviously, Cesaro and Sheamus both thought it was a joke. In the ring, we have Alexa Bliss. And like I said at the top of the show, Bliss is always great to hear on the mic. She makes great points. She makes valid points. She doesn't come off cringe. Although she does come off a little bit too girly at times when she says certain things. But then she is a woman and, you know, a hot one to boot. But she did a great night tonight. Bayley, however, sucked and was saved once again by Sasha Banks. So let me break into the segment. So Bliss says everyone comes out here and just talks. Some fight and others come out and talk about how they are living their childhood dream. Bliss says she almost vomited saying that. She didn't come out to talk. She came out here to win. Bayley comes to the ring. Bayley says Bliss is right. Bliss wasted no time proving how good she is. Bayley says she knows Bliss is making fun of her. Since the day they met, says Bliss has been the type to talk behind someone's back instead of saying it to their face. Now Bayley says she knows everyone is gunning for her. She is going to be successful defending her title in her hometown at WWE Payback. Bliss says this is going to be great. Bliss is going to beat Bayley down in front of her father, her hometown, and basically crush her. Bliss calls her, or says she's been a sheltered child. She turns around and asks Bayley, has she ever kissed a boy in her life? Bliss says she didn't mean to embarrass Bayley, but she will this Sunday. Now enter Sasha Banks. She comes down to ring. Banks calls Bliss a troll doll. Just because Bliss stole a victory last week doesn't mean she runs anything. The women with the gold does. Sunday, Bayley is going to shut her up, but tonight, Banks will. Bliss says Banks is unhinged and she doesn't feel safe being in the ring with her. Banks tells Bliss she can help her with that and decks her. So that is the beginning of this match. Now the match wasn't very long. It didn't even get finished, but I will go into it. So Bliss knocks down Banks, and she did have a bit of a bloody nose, or Bliss did, be knocked off the apron with that forearm. Bliss misses her double knee attempt. Banks lands multiple clotheslines, drop kick by Banks. Banks hits her double knees in the corner for a 2 count. Bliss whips Banks down to the mat with an arm breaker. Banks locks in the bank statement. Bliss gets to the ropes to break the hold. Bliss rolls out to the outside and says she is the #1 contender. She does not need this. Bliss is counted out, and your winner is Sasha Banks via countout. Now, as Bliss is making her way up the ramp to just get the hell away from Sasha Banks, Bayley leaves the announce table and attacks her from behind and begins to drag her down to ringside to basically get her due. Bliss manages to escape, runs to the back room. Everyone thinks that this is all done. Bayley turns around and basically calls her chicken and blah, 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 and is attacked from behind by Alexa Bliss. And before it could get any further, Sasha Banks runs up the ramp and Bliss exit once again. Now, what happened after the match was better than the short thing, the little bit that we got in the ring, but I've seen potential there. I've seen potential for Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks to have a great feud. I don't know about Bayley. I really don't. She needs more work on the mic. She's got to get out of this kiddie phase, and it's been said and said again by me, I know, but she needs to go into a more mature gimmick. This living her dream bit, she's already lived it. She conquered it. She became the women's champion at WrestleMania. Well, not at WrestleMania, but she had a WrestleMania moment. She won her women's title. She's done everything she's dreamt about doing. So now let's end that. Okay? The childhood dream is now over. You need to now move on and become the adult you are. And right now, it's just too kiddie for me. So backstage, Miz interrupts Curtis Axel and Heath Slater are being interviewed about the Marine 5, which sucked, by the way. If you watched it, I'm sorry for you. Miz asks one of them to be his partner. They both decline. Slater says he has a partner. Rhino walks in, eating crackers and spray cheese. Maurice goes on a rant about how Slater and Axel will never work in this town again. Axel asks if she means Kansas City. Maurice yells that she meant Hollywood. Rhino says Maurice needs a cracker. Maurice slaps the plate out of Rhino's hand. Rhino walks ways away sad and says she doesn't get a cracker now. Yes, it was pathetic. Miz is handed a note that tells him who his partner is going to be. Miz is very pleased with what he reads. Kurt Hawkins is up in the ring next. And yes, he is everyone's jobber right now. Basically, he has an open challenge to anyone in the locker room because he's going to turn them into stars, into main eventers and future champions. This is his role in the WWE right now. And I look at the guy and he's in great shape. He doesn't have the best wardrobe, but then neither do I. But this guy, Kurt Hawkins, has always been a better tag team member than he has been a singles competitor. So, my thought, when Zack Ryder gets back, put them back together. Because I think they're going to be more enjoyable to watch together. Yes, it's been done. They did that in the past. But I think it would actually work for both of them. We know Mojo Rawley is a complete singles wrestler now. So, Zack Ryder is not going to get over with the fans unless he's in a tag team. And the Hype Bros is now dead. So he needs a new tag team partner. Why not reform that tag team with Kurt Hawkins? We need more tag teams to begin with. And maybe we can get away from this stupid gimmick of having Kurt Hawkins play this jobber and pretending that he's making everyone famous. Because, frankly, it's very boring. It's a stupid angle. And I think it needs to get gone. Now, that is my point of view. I like the way Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder worked together when they were a tag team, back when they were Edge's proteges. They looked good. They were tag team champions. And you look at where this guy is now, and you're wondering, what the hell happened? So, just reform the tag team. Put them back in the tag team division. You guys need more tag teams. Work with it. Give them something to do rather than being jobbers. You know, makes no sense. But Apollo Crews is the one to answer the challenge because he said he's not only here for former champions, he is going to turn anyone into a star with his Star Factory. So comes Apollo Crews. Now, Crews almost decapitates Hawkins with a drop kick. It was a beautiful drop kick. Hawkins catches Crews with a backdrop for a 2 count. Hawkins locks in a side headlock. And then he whips Cruz into the ropes, but Cruz explodes off the ropes with a side kick, or sick kick. Cruz levels Hawkins with a leaping enziguri. Cruz hits the spin out powerbomb for the win. Very short match. Apollo got TV time. He looked good. Could have had a longer match, but there you go. Now after the match, Titus O'Neil felt the need to leave catering and resume his role as an agent, a talent agent. And he came in raising Cruz's arm up high in victory and basically telling him, you know, everything's going to be about Apollo Crews. And we went through this last week with this bullshit. So this is Titus O'Neil's new gimmick. He is playing a agent that is not wanted by anyone, but he's going to impose his will upon anyone he can. It looks sad, you know, considering how popular the his former team were, the primetime players, and then looking at where he is now. We don't see Darren Young anymore. I don't know if he's in the company still or not, but these guys look horrible. They don't come off well anymore, especially Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil was good as a tag team player. Singles competitor, he's not being utilized, and he looks like a fucking joke. So backstage, Aries is trying to pitch a match idea to Angle. Angle says he will think about it. Austin Aries gives him a banana as a snack. Angle runs into Miz, and Miz asks Miz if he's found a partner yet. Miz says his partner found him. And then we have the Drifter, Elias Sampson, strumming his guitar, walking behind like we have been seeing. Angle's frozen in place, looking like kind of like a goofy fuck. But Angle says, good choice. Miz looks behind him at the Drifter and says, that's not him. Miz doesn't even know him. Angle tells Miz good luck because he's going to need it. Miz says he won't need it. Angle turns around and yells back, yes, you will. And it gets done over and over again. Nice little segment. But I think there was a little bit too many segments with The Miz tonight. Yes, he was searching for his tag team partner, so they need to show those clips. But really, we already had like 20 minutes, 30 minutes of him at the top of the show. Didn't really need to see that much of him. So up next, Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose versus The Miz, with Maurice in his corner as usual, and a mystery partner that doesn't seem to arrive. So Miz tries to introduce his partner, but no one comes out. Miz says he will have to postpone or cancel this match. And he's about to before Kurt Angle says, look, you were told to find a partner. If you didn't, sorry about your damn luck, but you're getting back in that ring because you are competing tonight. And if it has to be a handicap match, sorry about your damn luck. So the match is made. It's made official. And we're going with a handicap match, at least for now. So Jericho and Ambrose beat the shit out of Miz for a very long time. Clothesline him over the top rope. After a short break, Jericho suplexes Miz. You get top rope clothesline by Ambrose. Miz begs off and tries to shake Ambrose's hand. He then turns around and slaps Ambrose across the face. Ambrose chases Miz around the ring. Miz pulls Maurice in front of him and kicks Ambrose in the chest. It was supposed to be the face, but it was the chest. Miz rolls Ambrose back into the ring. Running big boot by the Miz. Miz does the Daniel Bryan-esque combo for a near fall. Miz tries the Daniel Bryan kicks, but Ambrose rolls Miz up for a near fall. Ambrose bounces off the ropes and hits the lunatic lariat. Ambrose tags in Jericho. Jericho lands the running bulldog and follows it up with a lion salt. Miz rolls out of the ring and walks up the ramp, basically says he's done with it. Ambrose gives chase and clotheslines Miz in the back of the head. And he proceeds to drag Miz over to the announce table where he just begins to clean it off. And he's up on the top and he drags Miz up and all of a sudden the lights go out. There is nothing. And of course, Wyatt appears and there is the Miz's mystery tag team partner. At least that's what we thought. So he ends up delivering a Sister Abigail to Dean Ambrose against the LED screens by the entrance. And then they drag Jericho into the ring. And Jericho receives the Sister Abigail. And the Miz, being a cocky prick like he usually is, he puts his hand on Wyatt's shoulder, thinking they're all buddy-buddy. And Wyatt turns around and delivers Sister Abigail to the Miz. Ended it perfectly. We got the quick flash of the Bray Wyatt little blackout that he does, and that was your show. Now, I probably forgot the Bray Wyatt promo that he did on the Titantron about Randy Orton. I do apologize for that. But I did miss that section. I was actually using the bathroom. I thought we were on commercial break. But the winner of that match was decided in a no contest. No one won. Except for Bray Wyatt. He was the only one standing at the end of it all. So that was your Raw review, results, and reaction. Like I said, I'm sorry that it wasn't a better show. I wish it would have been. Like I said, it was a solid match. Do as I asked. Send some good vibes over. If you feel like it, subscribe. Hit that like button. Remember, everything that you need to know about me and the show, you will find in the description box below. I also want to give a shout out to my VidMe followers, and thank you for following me. This show will be uploaded right after YouTube, and continue to follow. Enjoy the show for what it is. Tomorrow, I'm hoping SmackDown improves, because last week, you know my thoughts on it. There's others that didn't have the same thoughts as me. They said it was all for a reason. It made sense. To me, it made no sense. But that's me. So let's hope for a great SmackDown tomorrow night and a better review, and I will see you there. Have a good night, everyone, and continue, like I said, to follow and lend your support to the show. Thank you very much. Good night.